Hi, my name's Kat, and today Reddit has been asked, GameStop employees of Reddit, what are some of your horror stories? 4 come to mind. A woman comes in to trade in an old Xbox 360 in a box. I open the box, and the smell hits me. Rat droppings, grime, coat crotches, and all have spent time in this thing. Luckily my manager noticed, and we were able to decline the trade. Spent 5 minutes disinfecting the counter before I helped the next customer. One time I was trading in a PS4, I think. We were chatting whilst I was wiping his hard drive and commenting on all his achievements. Sometime during this conversation he got nostalgic and changed his mind, but not before I had already deleted all his data. Felt terrible. One homeless looking guy comes in during one of the few times I'm alone in the store. He was dragging around a trash bag, and I was doing my best to keep him in eyesight, as he was all kinds of sketchy. He managed to stuff an Xbox 360 in the bag and walk out, but I ran out and asked him to give it back, which he did, saying, "Please don't call the cops." I did. The last one kind of shook me. This woman comes in with a gaggle of kids, maybe 4. They were all terrors, running around different parts of the store, yelling, grabbing things, rearranging them, seemingly causing distractions, whilst this woman tried on 3 separate occasions to get behind the counter. They end up buying something, but then I noticed under this big box the oldest kid had picked up, he stuffed his hands full of the little DS games that were on the go back section of the counter. There was more here, but I've lost some of the details. But it really gave me the impression that this was all coordinated by their mother. It's one thing to see adults steal. To see kids who are encouraged to do so, just terribly, terribly sad. I was an assistant manager when one of the Maiden games came out. 04 maybe? We were doing a big midnight opening for it, and everybody was having a great time waiting for the game, which we were picking up from another store about 30 miles away. Around 11 o'clock, after people had been waiting for 2 hours after the mall closed, I got a phone call. The game wasn't coming. I almost broke down, sitting behind the register, dreading the thought of telling everybody that they just wasted their time. To make matters worse, another store within walking distance of us got their games. I wanted to die that night. I'm so grateful that our customers took it well and didn't get too angry. Had a couple come in to return a Sesame Street video game and a controller. They had a receipt from over a year ago. The game was scratched to hell, and the controller was full of dried soda. They said it didn't work anymore, shocker, and were furious when I wouldn't give them their money back, like standing there screaming at me. I was a manager, so I had no one else there to back me up. It was crazy. The kid was bawling, the lady was swearing like a syphilic sailor, and the husband couldn't finish a sentence. Pretty sure they were both super high too, so that was fun. When the PS2 came out, I was assistant manager, and my manager would sell them out of the back room at a markup. Such a snake. I took the demo Xbox home with a copy of Halo before the system launched one night, and had a 4-player all-night party. One of our other local stores had someone dig through the outside wall and steal everything from their back room. Also, when you get done alphabetizing the Wii games and notice your hands are covered in mystery sticky stuff from all the filthy children handling the cases, that was pretty gross. One time a woman screamed at me because her kid was tearing open a toy before paying for it, and I kindly told him to wait a little bit. She seemed on the fence whether she wanted to buy a toy or not for her kid, so I wasn't glad that their kid was already ripping it open. She then proceeded to scream at me for being really awful with kids, a horrible person, bad at my job, etc. Also, she wanted to complain to the manager if I ever talked to her kid like that again. She then angrily paid and walked out of the store. Also, people tinkering / modding their console, then trying to return it because it doesn't work anymore, and angrily insisting on having it bought that way in GameStop. Worked part-time at GameStop whilst I was in college. The best story I love to tell is the mum and son story. 40-ish mum and a 7 to 10-ish boy come into the store, in a large strip mall with lots of stores, don't even look at the merchandise, come up to the counter and ask to let the kid use the bathroom. Clarified she's not there to buy anything, but has spent thousands of dollars in our store previously. We politely tell her we can't let customers use our bathroom because it's at the back of the store with lots of high-priced merchandise. That's the policy. We have cameras and corporate reviews the footage, another story I have, where I was wrongfully terminated, some stanchiates that one. Additionally, what we don't tell her is that all the used game consoles that people sell back to us was stored in the bathroom. There was 1 month prior to Christmas I had to do some impressive yoga to get into the toilet. I'm sure those consoles were a hazmat, but I digress. But not to be unsympathetic to this kid's plight, we tell the mum that the pizza place next door lets people use their bathroom if they buy something. And the cheapest thing is a $1 soda/bottle of water. She starts flipping out on us and spewing expletives, telling us she's paid our salaries 10 times over and that we're going to hell, yada yada yada. Then no joke, tells her son to just go. Kid actually unzips and pees all over the carpet in front of my register. Then they left. I've never been so grossed out and dumbfounded. Had to close up for the day and half the next day while GameStop paid to have our carpet sanitised. Resulted in a loss of pay for the weekend. Wonder what happened to that kid. He's got to be in his 20s by now. Too long, didn't read. Mum let her fully potty-trained son urinate on the carpet in front of the registers when we didn't allow him to use the employee bathroom in our store when there was a perfectly good bathroom for him to use in the pizza restaurant next door. Former employee. 2 wonderful stories. 1. Older lady brings in a bag. She looks like an addict and she wants to sell her wee. I put my hand in the bag and it's soaking wet. Cat piss. She was furious I wouldn't take it. From that day forward, made every customer take all trades out of them bags themselves. 2. My first store was long, and I had a kid and mum in the back. Mum wasn't paying attention at all. 8-year-old walking around. Gets really, really quiet. Then mum rushes the kids out of the store. Go back there and he took a poop on the floor. Watch the tape. Mum finds him squatting, lets him finish, then takes him out. A gentleman comes in to buy one of our old 360 bundles. Used, the old system that required the HD. He brings it back the few days later and complains that it doesn't work. We start our normal troubleshooting methods in store. We couldn't figure anything out. So I do a swap, take his old system in as a defective, then sell him a replacement bundle. I go through and try to wipe our system so we can ship it back to the warehouse. Cockroaches started crawling out the system instead. I freak out. Throw the system in one of our giant shopping bags, throw that in a box, tape it shut, and throw that in another bag. My manager tells me to just shrink it out, meaning we take the loss, and destroy it in the back. I take it out to the parking lot and have to throw it around to destroy it. These cockroaches freaking scatter like marbles on the floor. I'm dancing around the parking lot on my tiptoes to avoid the flood. It was awful. Second story. One of my regulars was a skunk farmer. I will say no more. ETA, okay, skunk farmer. I worked at a store that was bordered in 2 states. In State A, where the store was located, we were in a nicer area. We were extremely close to State B's rural community. State B had its own store an hour away from ours, but we were only 15 minutes from the state line. It was easier for State B residents to come to us rather than go to their own store. Mr. Skunk Farmer raised skunks. I don't know why or how, but every time I'd see him about twice a month, he'd show me some photos of the babies, or of their new pens, or of whatever shenanigans he was trying out on the farm. I remember he wore overalls that his wife embroidered a skunk onto the front pocket or something. I worked at GameStop for 3.5 years. We all have seen some strange things, I promise you all that. I worked in a store where theft was a very common occurrence. But this one dude, he nabbed one of the cheap controllers off the wall from the back of the store, puts it in his backpack, then comes over to the counter, he reaches across the counter, opens a drawer, and steals a brand new game out the drawer, takes it away from the register, opens it, waits in line, trades the game in for $25, then he asks me to look for something in one of the bottom drawers, and he steals the back of the game that he just traded in a second time. After that, he immediately left the store before I could even notice he was gone. I gotta give him some credit. He had some slick balls. So many other sketchy things too, but this one I just had to laugh at. Comment down below if you'd like a part 2. It doesn't have to be about working at GameStop, it can be about working in any store there is in the world. I just chose GameStop for this video due to the things that are going on about the GameStop shares at the moment. So yeah, comment down below if you'd like a part 2. And comment down below what stores you'd like me to read out about. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. See you in the next one. This video is sponsored by me. Sweet Mouthful Mixes brings Pick and Mix sweets straight to your door. Choose up to 10 scoops of your favourite sweets, or pick a pre-packed bag. Sweet Mouthful Mixes has a 5-star hygiene rating and full PPE is worn whilst making the bags. With over 50 sweets to choose from, you're guaranteed to find something you like. Treat yourself, you've earned it. Get 20% off with code REDDIT.